Henry County District Attorney Darius Patillo says the deadly police shooting of a man following a long standoff was justified and no charges will be filed.
That's a police shooting that our Fox 5 I team has followed all year. Now, we first obtained eyewitness video of the shooting in December of last year in Henry County.
Senior I team reporter Del Russell examined the entire case file, reviewed all the police video, and is here now with a look at that decision.
Russ, in the file tells a heartbreaking story of a distraught Marine, war veteran, who had an interaction with police that led to his death. But what we didn't know when we first reported this is that the gun Earl Eubanks was holding when he was shot and killed was unloaded, and it wasn't even his. It was his ex-wife's. The 911 call came in last December. A disturbance at a dentist's office. An ex-husband had confronted his wife at her work.
It's the ex-husband.
Hampton police officer Brandon Cooley rushed through the hallway of the office, surrounded by concerned faces, and into the alleyway.
Stacy, don't do it.
There he finds Earl Eubanks face to face with his ex-wife, Stacy Robinson. Stacy Robinson later told police she felt threatened by her ex-husband when he showed up, so she got her gun out of the back seat of her Mustang and put a round in the chamber.
He felt threatened.
Earl Eubanks' mother, Jacqueline Eubanks, is a former reserve police officer and daughter of Georgia's first elected black sheriff.
I mean, it was a threatening situation for him all the way around. From the time that he arrived on the scene and she pulled the gun on him to the time that the police officer came in and he started pulling guns on him.
Leave her alone.
According to the GBI report, Stacy and Earl had recently divorced. They had one child.
My son was in Iraq.
Jacqueline Eubanks would later tell police Earl was a Marine, back from the war, who battled depression, feared losing his daughter, and had abducted Stacy at gunpoint a month earlier.
Hey.
Arriving at the scene, armed with his taser, Officer Cooley saw the gun and tasered Earl Eubanks.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
That's bravery in action right there.
Lance LaRusso is a former police officer and now an attorney who has written a book on police officer shootings. He examined our video, beginning with Officer Cooley confronting an armed man.
He could have gone for cover himself. He could have left her standing there, but he used the only means available to him, which was the taser.
Eubanks fell, but never dropped the gun.
There was moments I felt like he wanted to be shot.
Earlier, the I-Team had obtained exclusive cell phone video of that standoff, taken by an eyewitness, Mike Terrell.
There was moments I felt like he was crying for help.
Now, through an open records request, we've obtained the standoff captured by police officers' body cameras and dashboard cameras. A clearly distraught Eubanks, crying out that his life was over.
It's over. No, it's not over.
At times thumping his chest and disobeying commands to drop the gun, as officers pleaded with him to cooperate.
Just put the gun down, man. I want you to go home to your family.
The standoff, involving a number of Henry County and Hampton police officers on both sides of Eubanks, was tense.
Back up, you're putting us in that crossfire situation.
What you saw there was a textbook attempted de-escalation.
And near the end, Eubanks moved closer and closer to Henry County Police Officer Justin Boggs, armed with a .40 caliber submachine gun. Boggs pleads.
Stop walking towards me. Stop walking. He's getting too close.
He can raise a gun from his side or from this position in 0.26 seconds, just like that. It doesn't have to come up like this.
LaRusso says numerous studies show the danger for Officer Boggs was that Eubanks could have fired one or more shots before Boggs could respond.
So the officer will be shot 3 times before he can get one shot off.
About 30 seconds later, Boggs fired one shot. The standoff was over.
He could have stopped him many other ways. He could have shot him in the knee. He didn't have to shoot him in the head.
The Henry County DA, Darius Patillo, would not discuss the case with us. He cleared the officer in the shooting. In a press release, Patillo said the shooting was justified because Eubanks refused to drop his gun and walked towards officers with the gun.
It's the right call by the DA, and the thing that people need to remember is those officers will never be the same, ever.
No, I do not think the DA made the right decision. I feel that there was things that should have came out or been exposed that were not exposed.
So case closed. But when we read the police file, we learned this. What police didn't know during the entire 19-minute standoff was that the gun Earl Eubanks was holding was empty. According to Stacy Eubank's statement, she dropped the clip and unchambered the gun as soon as police arrived at the scene. The clip and bullet were marked in the crime scene pictures. Does that change anything in your mind?
Not from the officer's use of deadly force.
I'm not mad at anyone at this point in time. I'm just hurt. My heart is broken. That was my only son, and he was my youngest.
Now, we tried to talk with Stacey Robinson about the incident over the phone. She confirmed that she told law enforcement that she unloaded her gun after it was all over. She didn't want to talk any more about it. Russ?